What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the Full-Time Wedding Pro podcast. My name is Peyton Helm. I am your host. It's nice to see you here. Good morning. I hope you're having a great, fantastic day. Listen, I know I've not made a video or podcast episode in a while. I'm scaling pretty hard with the program right now. And I'm doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, remaking the course and all that fun stuff. But I actually, I had this idea hit me recently on, okay, I should make a video that covers basically everything from beginning to idealized end of your wedding business. So like from zero all the way if you want to get to either 6 figures or 7 figures per year. So that's what this video is going to be about. It is all the things that I would do. Number one, if I was starting over and I had no bookings, all the way to if I wanted to scale to $100,000 a month and so on and so forth. Now, I do want to preface a few things. So first off, this podcast, this YouTube channel is sponsored by my coaching program and my mastermind, Full-Time Wedding Pro. I wanted to touch on that for a second because this is really, really important for you to understand. So I am a wedding photographer, wedding and elopement photographer, and filmmaker. I have had a six-figure business, a multi-six-figure business for the last pretty much since 2021 is kind of when I hit my first 6 figures. So for the last, 4 years, 3 years, whatever. And I've been shooting since before then as well, but I got to the 6-figure mark in 2021. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I just wanted to preface a couple things. I personally have not scaled my wedding business to 7 figures. I have scaled a brand and a business to 7 figures, so I know the things that go into it. However, personally, I have not scaled my wedding business to that level, mostly because I don't want to. It's a lot of stress. It is a lot of stuff to manage. You will see that when we get there. So you're like, okay, if you've not done that, how can you specifically teach it? The reason why is because I have a mastermind inside Full-Time Wedding Pro where I have people in that program scaling to 7 figures. I'm seeing how they're doing it. I'm giving them consults and advice and helping them scale with ads and things of that nature. So I know what goes into it, especially because as you can see, I've got the 20 to 100K a month. I've been at the 20K a month range before. Scaling past it, it's more, we'll dive into it. Okay. So in this video, this pretty much can cover a couple things. I don't know exactly what I'm going to title it because it's still up for debate on my Instagram story. I'm having people vote on it. But anyway, pretty much what we're covering in this video, in this podcast episode, is how to basically go from the very beginning, what I would do if I have no bookings, all the way to what I would do if I wanted to scale to $100,000 a month in a wedding business and everything in between. So as you can see, there's 3 levels to this. And again, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, and you can't see this, I'll break this down audibly for you so you can see it or you can hear it. But basically, I have this broken down into 3 business revenue levels. So 0 to $5,000 a month, $5,000 a month to $20,000 a month, and then $20,000 to $100,000 a month. And there are very specific things. I broke these down in these ranges for a reason. There's very specific things that you would do differently if you were at 0 to 5 versus 5 to 20 versus 20 to 100. And I've got all of these notated down. I'm going to be going over them one by one. I didn't start with these all listed here because I didn't want you guys to get overwhelmed. There's a lot of stuff here. This probably will be a solid 45-minute to an hour-long video. But this is probably going to be the most valuable free video or free podcast episode that I know I've ever put out, but honestly, I think I've ever heard anyone put out. I've never seen any other educator or influencer in this space talk about everything they would do at each different stages. But hey, we're here. So hopefully this video is helpful for you guys. A couple things. If you like this video and this podcast episode and you want to learn more about what we do with Full-Time Wedding Pro, because we talk all this stuff in Full-Time Wedding Pro, then feel free to click the link down below, go to fulltimeweddingpro.com and watch the video on there. I break down what the program is, what we teach in it, what we do. I give the starting rates for the program. And if you want to apply and learn more and book a call with me, you can do so. I'll shoot you a video that breaks down the entire offer, both price points, both for the coaching program and the mastermind. Whether, again, you're part-time or full-time, there's 2 levels there. So I serve people at the 0 to 5K a month level, and I serve people all the way at the 20K level. So anyway, it's there. If you want to learn more about it and scale your wedding business that way, go for it. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. So first off, I want to speak to the people who are at the 0 to 5K per month range. Now, even if you're above that range right now, I don't want you to discount this, because this is like the things that we're going to be talking about at this level are things that I have had people at the 5 to 20K a month level implement and start scaling from there. So I don't want you to necessarily discount this stuff, okay? Because it is important to have the fundamentals down, all right? And now I did set up a few rules here at the very bottom, as you can see. So number one, everything that I'm going to be giving to you guys, all the information, are going to be ruled by these 3 rules. Number one, I have money to invest. Okay, this is very, very, very important. If you, and this is just my kind of opinion on this. I think if you're starting a business from zero and you have literally nothing, no money at all to invest, you probably should not be starting a business. You should probably be working a job and saving up money before you go full time. Okay. So the preface here is that I have money to invest. Either I have a part-time job, or I'm or a full-time job even, and I'm making money, or I've got a capital loan, or I've got savings. So the rule here is I have money to invest. If you have absolutely no money whatsoever, you're going to have to get really scrappy or go get a job. Probably shouldn't start a business if you have zero money. Most businesses, if they don't have capital, they fail. So there you go. Anyway, second is I have experience and a portfolio. Okay. If you have zero wedding experience, zero portfolio at all, this is going to take you much, much, much longer. So just, I'm prefacing that. And honestly, most of the people watching this in my existing audience, you guys have experience and you have a portfolio, even if you're not making a ton of money per month. So I wouldn't really be speaking to my ideal audience if I taught how to get your first wedding booked. So that's not what we're talking about in this video. I'm assuming that you guys have experience and a solid portfolio. It doesn't have to be crazy, but something, even though you're not booking right now. Okay. And then number 3, I have knowledge. So obviously I'm coming to you from a place where I know I've done most of these things. I know what I'm talking about, or I've helped students do these things. So the biggest preface here is, obviously for a lot of this stuff, some of you guys might know, but some of you don't. And my biggest thing is, please hire a coach and or a mentor, especially for some of these things that I'm going to be talking about. I do not recommend trying them on your own, and I'll mention that because some of these things, if you do incorrectly, you can waste a lot of time and money. So it's really valuable to hire somebody. It doesn't have to be me, but somebody that can help you. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the 0 to 5K per month range. Now, if you're here, I'm assuming that we're going to get a little scrappy. Okay. So this stuff isn't going to be sexy. This stuff is not going to be glamorous. This is going to be stuff that, like, hey, you're at $0 a month right now. So you probably don't need to be charging 5 to 10 grand per wedding. You probably need to be at like the 2 to 4K range per wedding. If you're not making any money. Okay. And that is because, pricing is a whole different conversation. We'll talk about it when we get to the 5 to 20K mark. But pricing, when it comes to knowing what to charge for your wedding, I have a very simple strategy. It is basically how many weddings that you have the capacity to shoot per year divided by, never mind. Let's start that over. I messed up. It's how much income you want to make at the end of the year divided by the capacity of weddings that you are willing to shoot, and then matched with clients who will pay it. Okay. That is how you should figure out your price point. So you could you say you want to make $100,000 at the end of the year and you're willing to shoot 25 weddings. Well, okay, math shows us that is $5,000 or $4,000 per wedding. Don't quote me. I'm not great at math. Anyway, $4,000 a wedding, let's say that. But if you don't know how to match if you don't know how to find clients who are willing to pay $4,000 for a wedding, then you need to lower prices. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Either you need to lower prices or you need to work on your marketing strategy. So anyway, I'm assuming that if you're at 0 to 5K a month, you're really going to have to get scrappy. You're probably not charging a ton. So that's how I'm going to coach on what I would do here. So the first thing I would do is so funny because I've spoken out so much against this, but if you're not making anything, this can be super valuable for you. And that is using Facebook groups. Now, what I don't mean here is I don't mean scouring the internet for ISO posts, okay, and commenting your website with like 300 other photographers. I actually posted a reel about this. That was really funny. What I mean instead is posting, okay? So what does this mean? What I mean by this is going in Facebook groups, and you can do this in your local Facebook group. You can do this in other Facebook groups around the country. It doesn't matter. You can do this yourself. You can hire someone to do this, which that's what I would do. And I would say, hey, I am trying to get 3 or 5 weddings booked in this location, and I'm willing to work with your budget. That's it. And then you will have couples commenting on that, and you can message them. You can have a conversation with them, whatever. There's a couple educators in the industry that teach the strategy for people who are new, and I've seen it work extremely well. I've helped people do this too, and it's worked fairly well. I personally have done this in the very beginning, and it worked fairly well. So if you do this, like, you could probably get to, 10-ish K a month. If you really, like, if you hire somebody to do this and they're doing it all day, every day, and you're having a ton of conversations, you could probably book a lot of weddings just from this. Now, I don't recommend going out and just doing this unless you really are, like, super scrappy. Especially, I wouldn't recommend doing this by yourself. Like, I would recommend hiring someone to do this if you really need to get scrappy, okay? Because you're going to get a lot of people who have a budget of like $500, $1,000, $2,000. I've seen people have budgets of like, $3,000, $4,000, but that's a little bit rare at that point. Because Facebook groups, similar to the Knot, are notorious for attracting budget clients. So again, if you're super low priced and you're like, yeah, I just need bookings in, this could be pretty good for you. So that's the first thing I would recommend. Second thing I would recommend is to reach out to higher priced photographers or filmmakers if you're a filmmaker. And what I mean by this is I would just make a whole list. Like, let's say you're at $2,000 per wedding or $3,000 per wedding. What I would do is I would make a list of photographers or filmmakers or both, and reach out to them if they're charging like $5,000 plus. And I would say, hey, I noticed you're at like 5,000 or 7,000 or whatever. I'm at 3. I assume you probably get a bunch of inquiries that you're at a budget for. So what are you doing with those inquiries? Do you send them anywhere? If not, send them to me. I'll take them. I'll take them off your hands. Heck, I'll even give you a referral commission. You don't have to, but it's something you can do. And if you reach out to enough people, you could fairly easily build a decent referral list just from doing that. Because I know myself as a higher price wedding creative, because I start at $6,800. Whenever I get clients who come to me and like I'm out of budget, if I didn't have full-time wedding pro where I could post them in there, I would just be like, sorry, I can't really help you. And it is a good client experience to be able to recommend them somebody and you trust as a higher priced creative who is a little bit lower priced. So I would reach out to a bunch of photographers and filmmakers who are higher priced and just say, hey, I noticed you're charging this. I charge this. It's a little bit less than you. If you're willing, I'd love to take some of the leads that you're out of budget for off your hands. And obviously you'll get some no's, you'll get some yeses and stuff like that. Not all of them will be consistent, but again, we're getting scrappy here because we're at $0 a month. The business is at $0 a month is what I'm assuming here. So you have to get scrappy. All right. So anyway, that's the second thing I would do. And you can do both those. Doesn't matter to me. Number 3 is I would attend styled shoots. There's a few reasons for this. So number 1, I have booked an ample amount of weddings from styled shoots at all price points. I have made incredible friends from styled shoots. I've elevated my portfolio from styled shoots. I have an ad running right now for weddings that is generating me a 10x return on investment, booking $9,000 and $10,000 weddings and elopements from a styled shoot. Like, they're really, really amazing and they're so slept on. Styled shoots are something that I would recommend at every price point. Maybe unless you're at like the 20 to 100K a month level, unless you just really want like a specific shot. Styled shoots are fantastic, but specifically when you're at this level, there's a lot of benefits, right? You'll elevate your portfolio. You'll make vendor connections. You'll make venue connections. You'll make friends, right? The next point that I'm going to make will make sense here. Anyway, like there's so much value from styled shoots. Just attend them, host them if you want to. Do your own model calls. We could do model calls here as well. So anyway, there's so many benefits here. I would do this if you have not done this already, if you're at this level. Now, number 4, I think, number 4 is I would create a network of other wedding photographers and or filmmakers, depending on what you are. Now, this could look like a group chat. It could look like a Slack channel. It could look like an Instagram thing. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It could look like a Facebook group. I don't know. What I would do is I would create a network of other wedding photographers and filmmakers, 10, 20, maybe 30. And the rule, and you guys are all local and all around the same price point. And the rule is, if you want to be in this group, you have to post wedding inquiries that you get that you were already booked on or out of budget or whatever. But mostly if you're already booked on, or if you just don't want to book the wedding. The reason why this works is because the more people who post in this group wedding referrals, the better chances all of you will have of getting those weddings. I have done this myself. I have loved it. It's been amazing. And you form a lot of friendships doing this. And you pretty much have a network of people that, number one, can associate shoot for you and second shoot for you. So this is a really, really good tactic. It's a little bit of a slept on tactic. Another thing here is you can create partnerships. So let's say you're a videographer, right? And it's pretty known that filmmakers are hired later on in the chain of engagement vendors or vendors that couples hire when they're engaged. And usually it's photographers and planners first. So if you are a filmmaker specifically, what you can do is you can partner with photographers and offer them, because this will help photographers too, because a lot of photographers lose work because couples want photo and video. So if you are a photographer or a filmmaker, you guys can partner together and you can create photo video collections and offer that. So that way you're both getting booked. And now instead of just one person doing marketing for a photo video, you've got two people and you've got a combined system, and it works really, really well. So I've seen that done plenty of times. It's worked incredible. Personally, I haven't done this because I have I offer photo video in-house. But I've seen this work really, really well for a lot of people. So anyway, that's number 4, create a network, a group chat, and partnerships. Now, number 5 is form a social media strategy. Okay, social media is not just posting every single day. There's strategy to it. There's specific, content that you should post. I could make a whole video about this because there's content that you can post that hits like a wide range of audiences. And that's stuff like, wedding video clips, controversial opinions, relationship advice, whatever. And then there's specific content that doesn't get a lot of reach, but it really nurtures your warm audience. And that's stuff like wedding planning tips and longer form content and, questions and stuff like that they might have for vendors and so on and so forth. So there's, social media is important, and it's good to have a social media strategy in place. Even a content calendar, so that way okay, I'm going to be posting, a carousel every, 2 or 3 days. I'm going to be posting reels every 2 or 3 days. I'm going to be posting one story a day or one story every couple days. Being consistent is a little bit more important than how often you post, but also the more you post, the better chances you will have of warming up your already engaged audience and reaching out to a new audience. So having a social media strategy at this level is super important. It's important at every level, really. But once you start getting to the 5 to 20K a month, that's where you can start hiring out for social media. So anyway, at this level, again, we're getting scrappy. You're spending a lot of time and not a lot of money, unless you hire people to do this. So that way, forming a social media strategy will help you substantially at this level. Okay, now from there, we're going to get really scrappy, and I'm going to be talking about second shooting / associate shooting. So this is something that nobody wants to do, which is totally understandable. And I would almost say this is like a last resort, okay? Because obviously you want to be booking your own weddings. But if your business needs revenue coming in now, then I would recommend to start second shooting or associate shooting. It's a really easy way to get some, and I would only do this, a caveat, I would only do this if the person that you are second or associate shooting for will let you use the images or the films in your portfolio. That is the biggest thing I have to say. There is no point in second or associate shooting if they're not going to let you use the images or videos in your portfolio. You might as well just go work a job at that point, right? So yeah, biggest preface there. If you just need some extra work, you need some income coming in, you can second shoot or associate shoot. Now, something that I was a little bit hesitant to put in this level is paid ads. So specifically when we talk about paid ads, this is the last one at the 0 to 5K level, is I would run follower ads. So what follower ads are is, you're not going into the ads manager and setting up the pixel. You're not super worried about branding and pricing and stuff at this level. Follower ads literally are taking posts that you have made on Instagram that have done well and boosting them for followers. Okay. That is the goal. You're not sending people to your website. You're getting followers. And you're like, okay, well, Peyton, That's great, but I want to book. So why would I want more followers? That's a really good question, John. I'm glad you asked. The reason why you want more followers is so that way you can follow them back and message them, create a conversation with them, and then book them. A lot of people will boost posts, and that even sometimes they'll send them to their website, which is a mistake. But sometimes they'll boost posts for followers, and then they'll get followers, and then they will just do nothing. My friends, if you're getting followers and they are engaged couples, message them, follow them back and message them. You don't have to be super salesy. You don't have to be like, oh, hello, I see you're engaged. Would you like to hire me for your wedding? You don't have to do that. What you can do is you can message them and say, what's up, Sarah? Thanks so much for following me. Oh, your engagement photos look absolutely incredible. Would love to connect with you. Or, what's up, Emily? Thanks so much for following me. I saw you guys just got engaged. Those pictures at Sedona were absolutely stunning. Do you guys need any help with wedding planning? I've got a ton of free resources. Or you can just say, hey, thanks so much for the follow. Love to see your photos. Or, hey, thanks so much for the follow. Congrats on the engagement. And just leave it. That's all. That's all you have to do. But the more conversations you have, the higher chances you have of getting booked. And the people in my program who do follower ads and they do it really, really well, and they mix it with smart branding and high prices and messaging with the way that we do it, man, they are so profitable. Same with message ads. But anyway, at this level, the only ad I would recommend, the only paid advertising I would recommend would be follower ads, because they're really, really easy. They're very cheap compared to some of the other marketing strategies. The only downside is they take a whole lot more time, because you're actually having to monitor your followers on a daily basis. You're going to have to follow them back. Probably you're going to have to message them. It takes a lot of time. But if you have more time than money coming in, then follower ads can be very, very easy, and they're very cheap. So anyway, to sum up, if you're at the 0 to 5K per month level, the number 1 through 7 thing, and these are not in any order, by the way. You can do these in any order. You don't have to do all of these. These are just my ideas. So posting in Facebook groups, working with people's budgets, or hiring someone to do that for you, reaching out to higher price photographers or filmmakers. Number 3, attending styled shoots, hosting styled shoots or model calls. Number 4, creating a network/partnerships with other wedding photographers and filmmakers. Notice there, I didn't necessarily mention other vendors. I specifically said wedding photographers and filmmakers, and I'll talk about that in the next level. So anyway, number 4, create network partnerships. Number 5, social media strategy. Number 6, second shooting or associate shooting, only if they let you use the work in your portfolio. And then number 7, follower ads. Those are the 7 things I would do if I had absolutely no bookings, no money coming in. And that's about it. So that is the 0 to 5K level. Now let's talk about the 5 to 20K level. Okay. This is where things start getting a little interesting. This is actually where most of the people who hire me for Full-Time Wedding Pro are at. So most of you are between that 5 to 20K a month level. Most of you probably are more along the lines of like the 5 to 7K per month level, unless you're already full-time and you go with scale. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the first thing I would do if I was at the 5K to 20K per month level and my goal was to scale, okay, that's the goal, I would start refining my brand. Now, the reason why I do this is because most wedding creatives, let's say you're at the 5K per month level, most of you guys have a brand, a business. It's not necessarily even a brand. It's just a business. It's a commodity. And all that people know when they go to your website or your social media is that you're a photographer or a filmmaker. Ideally, they know that you're a wedding photographer or filmmaker or an elopement photographer or filmmaker, but that's about it. They don't know anything else about you. They don't know who you are. They don't know your hobbies. They don't know your story. They don't have any brand memorability. It's not super unique. It's kind of generic. That's it, right? That is not where you want your brand to be. So what I would do is start refining my brand. That's actually the first thing I teach in Full-Time Wedding Pro. The reason why is if you want to do the other marketing strategies that I talk about at the 5 to 20K per month level, you need to have a solid brand behind it. Okay. And I will go ahead and mention some of you guys are like, well, I feel like my brand is already pretty good. What I'm going to be talking about as far as marketing strategies at this level, you have to have a little bit more of a built out and unique brand for this stuff to work. So a brand built for referrals from vendors, venues, whatever, does not work the same as a brand built for paid advertising, SEO, and things of that nature, like I'm going to be talking about in this section. Okay. So refining the brand is important. How do you refine the brand? Number one, you need to get super clear on an ideal client, and you need to only talk to those types of people. So what this means is you need to understand and know what types of weddings or elopements you want to shoot. And I need to know types of venues, types of locations, what they're having as far as like the timeline, what kind of food is going to be there, what kind of vendors are going to be there, how much they're spending on things like florals and the venue and things of that nature. Like getting really, really, really clear on the types of weddings that you want to shoot. Not that you have been shooting, but what you really truly want to shoot. Number two is getting super clear on the ideal client type that has those types of weddings, but also is a match for you personality wise. So for me, these are people who, they're very adventurous and they don't really care about tradition. They don't really care about what society thinks. They want to live for themselves. They want to love for themselves. They want to say like fuck off to tradition and things of that nature. They want to go on like a hiking elopement, or they want to have a destination wedding with their friends, and they don't care about societal pressures or family pressures or whatever, and they want to live for themselves. That's my ideal client. What's yours? You need to figure that out and refine your brand around that. And then number three, you need to build out your brand pillars. So these are things with your brand, like on a visual level: font choices, color schemes, website design, stuff like that. You don't need to hire a brand designer at this point, in my opinion. You can, but you don't have to. You can get to $20K a month with a brand that you build yourself, unless you're just completely tech illiterate and you need somebody to build a website for you. I guess that's a little bit different. But you don't need to hire a brand designer at this point, because most of them are going to be charging 10 to 20K if they're really, really good anyway. So just be aware of that. Anyway, so the brand pillars. The first one is like the visual identity, the memorability, the uniqueness. Second is like, okay, what does my brand stand for? What are the several things that like my brand believes in? Okay, so like for mine specifically, Peyton Helm Productions, I believe in living for yourself. I believe in having a wedding or elopement that is really true to you, and it's not pressured by outside influences. It's having a wedding or an elopement that you feel like you deserve, and so on and so forth, right? So those are the things that my brand stands for. And then the third pillar is things that your brand stands against. So these are things that you don't believe in, right? Like let's say you're an inclusive photographer and you don't believe in bigotry and hatred and stuff like that, then that's something that your brand stands against. For instance, for elopement photographers specifically, like Leave No Trace. So we stand against pollution. We stand against not following rules and regulations. And we stand for preserving our wildlife. So, there are things that your brand stands for and stands against. If you have no stance whatsoever, your brand is not memorable and your brand is not creating an emotional connection with the types of clients you want to work with. So number one, if you are at 5K and you want to get to 10K or 20K, you need to start refining your brand. Okay. That's the most important thing you could possibly do. Number two is you need to raise prices. If you have a brand that's refined, you probably need to raise prices. If you're going from the 0 to 5K a month and you want to start hitting like the 10 to 20K a month, it's time for you to raise prices. And I've seen this over and over and over and over in my program. Now there are a lot of people, and you could be at like the 20 to 100K a month level, and you could be at like the 3 to 5K per wedding. That's fine. We'll talk about that in the next level. But most of you, if you're at like 2 or 3K per wedding, you need to probably get to like 5K per wedding, 7K per wedding, a little bit higher if you want to. The reason why is because if you're too low priced, number one, it is so much harder to book weddings at lower prices. And I know everybody's like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense whatsoever. I've seen it over and over and over again. And especially for like the past year, and probably continuing, especially with the economy going the way it is, there are so many couples who are on tighter budgets. There's so many couples who are price shopping, and those couples live in that $0 to $2,000 to $3,000 per wedding price range. So you have a flood of couples at that level, and that might sound great. However, they're all price shopping. They don't give a shit about who you are. They don't give a shit about your brand pillars. All they want is the most services for the cheapest price. That's all. And a lot of them, unfortunately, are getting burned because now you have immense competition at that level because so many people are struggling to book. So a lot of photographers, and thank God you're here so you can hear me say this, a lot of photographers and filmmakers, if you're not booking, you're like, oh, I need to lower prices. But then you don't fix your marketing issue. So you still have no leads coming in, but now you're at a low price. and now you're spamming Facebook groups, like I mentioned in the first one. So there's a lot more competition here in this level. You can book from it and hit like 3 to 5K a month. But if you really want to get to like the 10, 20K a month level, you need to raise prices and separate yourself from that competition. Now, you have to do number one, the refining your brand. If you want to raise prices, you have to, because you cannot be a basic commodity business model and raise prices at the same time. You can't do it. You will not have enough, you will not create enough demand in your brand for that to work. That is probably one of the number one things that my students in Full-Time Wedding Pro make a mistake on, is they raise prices, they start running ads, and they don't spend enough time refining the brand, refining their sales process, refining their offer, refining everything else. And then ads are getting them a flood of inquiries in, because what we do works really, really well. And then they haven't spent enough time refining the brand or the sales process or whatever, so they get a ton of leads in, but then they don't book any of them. So you need to refine the brand and then raise prices, okay? Those two things are crucial if you're at this level, all right? Now, number 3 from there is you want to start investing in paid ads. Again, I'm biased to paid ads because I built my business off of paid ads and SEO, but I have 150 people in my coaching program right now. Every single one of them are doing extremely well right now. And it's because like we are refining the brands, we're raising prices, and we're investing in paid ad strategies that work extremely well. Okay. So what does this look like? If you've watched any of my other videos on paid ads, we can dive a whole lot more deep in. We've already been talking for about 30 minutes, so I don't want to dive too deep in on paid ads. But basically, these ads are not discounts. They're not giveaways. They're not like, traffic campaigns with interest targeting and all the bullshit that people talk about on YouTube in this industry, or other coaches. They try to make you run discounts and giveaways and do all this stuff. And there's a reason why those coaching programs are failing right now. And why mine is growing. We don't offer discounts and giveaways in ads. What we do is we refine a brand, we raise prices, and then we run ads that specifically target higher end clientele who are willing to pay whatever price point you decide to. Okay. So what that looks like is sending ads straight to a website. Those work great. You can run message ads to your Instagram. Those work great. Follower ads work great. Like I mentioned in the first part. But at this level, you're wanting to dive a little bit deeper into Meta's platforms. So you're using the ads manager, you're using the Meta Pixel, you've got data, you're tracking things. You are a little bit more professional at this level because you need to be if you want ads to work really, really well for you. And my students in the program, most of them are at a 10x to 20x return on investment. I have some students who are crushing it. They're at like a 30, 40x return on investment. But most of the time, you're probably going to be spending about 5 to 10% of what you charge to book a wedding. So let's say you charge $5,000. If you run ads the way that we teach them in Full-Time Wedding Pro, you'll probably spend $250, maybe $500 at most to book a wedding once you have a process down. So anyway, that paid ads, they're great. Love them. I have a ton of videos on this on YouTube and on my website about paid ads. So if you want to learn more about how we run them, feel free. So paid ads. Number 4, SEO. Now, the reason why I like this combination is because SEO, if done right, so SEO stands for search engine optimization, and that is pretty much ranking your website on Google, but also Pinterest as well, and YouTube can be part of this. Even Instagram can be part of this too, but we mostly focus on Instagram with social media strategy, but with SEO specifically, Google, Pinterest, YouTube. And if you do this correctly, this does take a while. This will probably take you 6 to 12 months to really start seeing like amazing results that could overtake your paid advertising if you do everything right. But I like this combo because paid ads work really, really well for getting you booked immediately. Most of my students are booking within 1 to 2 weeks of running ads. And then, it's so on and so forth from there. You can scale it as high as you want to. SEO is free, so that's the biggest benefit, right? And it's extremely consistent. And it's a snowball effect. Like the more blog posts you have, the better keyword research you do, the more backlinks you've got, so on and so forth. And the more traffic you get to your website, once you start ranking, it creates a snowball effect and it gets better and better. So SEO is fantastic. It's one of the best marketing strategies available right now. It's a little bit in limbo. I don't know what AI is going to do with it. I don't really think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be going away or whatever as a marketing strategy, but AI is definitely shaking things up in the SEO world a little bit. So I'm interested to see what happens there. But yeah, SEO right now is an incredible strategy and probably will be for the next several years. So yes, definitely would recommend paid ads and SEO at this level if you really want to scale to like the 5 figures per year even 6 figures per year, honestly, because that's at this level. So, or 5 figures per month is what I meant there. So 10 to 20K a month and so on and so forth. So anyway, paid ads, SEO, love those marketing strategies. Next there, number 5 is smart vendor networking. So I say smart vendor networking because when you're at this level, you don't have a lot of time to do things. You're going to be shooting a lot. You're going to be editing a lot. You're going to be running marketing. Smart vendor networking is not going to bridal shows, not, reaching out and cold emailing vendors while you totally can. You don't have to. It's not those things. So what this is showing up on wedding days and providing an exceptional experience to your vendors, really creating real relationships with vendors, venues, all of them and above. So these are little things, right? Like bringing them coffee on the wedding day, asking them if they need anything, giving them free headshots on the wedding day, sending them, honestly, this is the easiest thing, sending them galleries from the couples, right? For venues, I've done this specifically where like I will literally send the venue a full gallery, but then I will also create, if I've shot at that venue multiple times, especially, I will create a venue only gallery from that wedding. So it will just be venue shots if they need them. So they don't have to sort through the entire gallery. There's so many things you could do here. You can shout out vendors. That's one of the easiest things to do is tag them on social media posts. Shout them out, put them on a preferred vendor list. There are so many things you could do with vendor networking. That is not just messaging them vendors and venues and offering them free work, free headshots, free venue walkthroughs, whatever to get booked. Vendors for me are a passive marketing strategy. Same with client referrals. And I honestly could have put this in here too. So I'll put client referrals. And honestly, it just boils down to being a really amazing person, being a good vendor, and just serving your vendors and your clients the right way. That will get you referrals. And honestly too, as Alex Shamosi points out, creating a referral program is incredible. So you can give referral bonuses to vendors or clients if they refer you people and they book you. You can give them gift cards. You can give them free gifts in general. You can give them discounts on prints specifically for clients. Having some, or honestly, you could just ask them like, hey, like if you know anybody else who's getting married, like, yeah, send them my way. I'd love to work with you again if you're a vendor, or I'd love to just, thank you if you're a client. Just asking for a referral is amazing. And so many people don't do that. So anyway, yeah, number 5 is smart vendor networking / client referrals. And then lastly, for the 5 to 20K region is to automate / outsource. Automate / delegate is a better word. So there's some specific things that you'll do here with automating and delegating at this level that is different from the 20K to 100K per month level. So what I specifically mean here is like things like editing, admin tasks, and social media. So also we could talk about blogging here too. Blogging, there we go. Blogging / SEO. So pretty much like I mentioned earlier, if you're at the 5K to 20K per month level, specifically if you're at like the 10 to 20K per month level, you're going to be pretty busy. This is when you might start leaning into AI for editing or outsourcing your editing, which I know is a big controversial thing, whatever. I personally don't give a fuck. I can put my galleries into Aftershoot and it knows my style. Honestly, they edit it better than I do. And it makes my delivery systems faster for my clients, which is an improved client experience. So yeah, I love AI. It's not perfect, but it completely dramatically lowers the amount of time that it takes me to cull and edit a wedding gallery for photos. I do delegate hire people for video creation, or video editing rather. And it's I did 35 weddings, big weddings, mostly all photo and video in 2022. And ever since then, I've only done 10 to 15 per year. But I was editing almost everything myself and I got extremely far behind. It was very difficult. So that's when I hired a video editor and it completely changed my life. So yeah, editing, automating, and delegating, it will completely change everything for you. I think, in my opinion, that's one of the first things that you should outsource. Second things are admin tasks. So these are things that honestly you don't have to delegate for this. You can automate stuff like this. Most CRMs will have automated things like follow-ups, email reminders, payment reminders, things of that nature. If you don't use that, please do. Or you can even hire a VA to do some things for you. And that could be handling your social media. That could be posting. That could be sending emails back and forth, managing payment collections, all kinds of stuff. You could have admin or a virtual assistant do for you. And then lastly, like I mentioned, is social media and then blogging and SEO. Like I said, I'm a huge contender for hiring people to do things for you, because as a business owner, your goal is to handle the business, right? It's not necessarily to work in the business when you get to a certain level. And we'll talk about that a lot more in the next level. So automating and delegating at this level, when you just kind of start getting your feet wet with it, you will be buying back some of your time, and it is incredible to do so, because you'll have more time to grow the business. You'll have more time to put into marketing. You'll have more time to put into client experience and serving your existing and your new clients. So I am a huge fan of automating and delegating, and this is the level when you're at 5 to 20K per month. That's when you should start doing it. Okay. Now, to recap, for 5 to 20K per month, number one, start refining your brand. I put my brand, but I'm going to put your brand. So start refining your brand, start raising prices, dive more into advanced paid ad strategies. Again, I have videos on YouTube if you want to look at those, and podcast episodes about that too. Diving into SEO, smart vendor networking / client referrals, and then automating and delegating. So that is the 5 to 20K per month level right there. Let me get a drink. All right. Let's talk 20K to 100K per month. Yes, this is possible. Some people will be like, you can't hit that with wedding photography. You can. I've got people in the program who are doing it. I've met people who are doing it outside the program, and everybody runs their businesses a little bit differently. So we're going to talk about this based on what I have seen and what I've coached people to do. So one of the first things that I would recommend you do is hire a brand designer when you're at this level. The reason why is because a brand built for 6 figures is very different than a brand built for 7 figures. Now, I have seen brands doing 7 figures who their brand is not that great. And that's fine. Like I've seen that happen before. I think it is the minority because most of those are built off like The Knot and their huge studios, or their budget studios rather. Or they're built off referrals. So you don't really need a really amazing brand to do so. But if you really want to push it and you want to get to like the 50, 60, 100K per month level, I would recommend hiring a brand designer. It will be worth the investment at this level because they can help you with a lot of stuff. Ideal client creation, and identification, copywriting, website structure, making sure everything is flowing. And when you're at this level, you don't have time to do these things yourself. So if you didn't hire one at the 5 to 20K per month level, I would definitely recommend hiring one at this level, specifically for branding, copywriting, and I just screwed this up. Let's go back in. Let's see. Branding, copywriting, and potentially SEO too, if you've not done that yet. So let me bring that back in. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so number one is hiring a brand designer. Optional, but I would recommend it if you're at this level. Now, number two, start building a team. So what this means is a team of in-house editors, if you don't use AI, a team of associate shooters and second shooters. You could, depending on what level you're at, you can have a salesperson. You definitely would want to have an admin person. And the reason why you do this is because you don't want to just have to handle everything yourself. Now, I will say that I have seen, and I'll mention this in the next one. So this is optional. Start building a team. I would say it's not optional. I think you would probably need this if you are really wanting to get like to the 6 figures per month level, even if you're just shooting weddings by yourself. So I would recommend building a team because it is easier to book a whole lot of weddings with associates than it is to book like 2 $50,000 weddings in a month. Those are a lot more rare, and those are mostly referral driven. So you don't really have much control over when they come in. So building a team is going to be probably the most successful way to get to 6 figures per month or 7 figures per year, which I know 7 figures per year is not technically 6 figures a month, but the 100K per month level is a little sexy. So I put it in there. So anyway, start building a team. This is associates to shoot weddings for you or with you. Second shooters, obviously. Admin staff, most likely, because you're going to have a lot. If you're at this level, you're going to have a lot of leads coming in. You're going to have have a lot of sales calls happening. You're going to want to have a salesperson. You're probably going to want to have an appointment setter. Things get very complicated at this level. Okay. So building a team is important. Managing them is important. You're going to need leadership skills, which you may or may not have. So again, hiring a coach, being in a mastermind with people who do this is important. That's why I have the higher end version of my Full-Time Wedding Pro program, which I call Scale. That's what we talk about in this level. So building a team is super important at this level. Okay. Now, number 3 is you want to segment prices. So this is something I will say is optional because I've seen people do this in several different ways. So number 1, what you could do is you could take the creative and the associate different pricing approach. So let's say me as the business owner, I might charge $15,000 to $20,000 to shoot a wedding if I actually shoot the wedding myself, and I still have it under one brand, right? But if you want to hire my team to shoot the wedding instead, it's only $7,000 or $8,000 or $5,000. That's segmenting prices. Okay. You could do this under one brand. You could do this under multiple brands. I've got people in the program who they have like a personal brand that they charge, $7,000, $10,000 for. And then they have a studio brand, which is all associates, and it's at $3,000 to $5,000 per wedding. You can do that if you want to. You don't have to. You could just have a single brand. And it could be a personal brand, it could be a studio brand, doesn't matter. And you charge the same amount per wedding that you would shoot versus your team shooting, but you only have your team shoot it if it's a wedding that you're already booked on, right? So like, I don't know, October 12th, 2025, if I'm already booked on that day and I get an inquiry coming in, I say, hey, I'm already booked on that day, but my team will be there to shoot it. I'll still edit it. You'll get the same quality. My team is amazing. It's the same price. Those are a little bit harder to sell from the experience that I've seen. So segmenting prices is a solid way. And also you can build out several brands to do this. I've seen photographers and filmmakers both do this, where they'll have, a luxury brand at like the 15, 20, 30K per wedding level. Then I've seen them do like a mid-market brand, which is like $3,000 to $5,000 per wedding. And then like a higher end professional brand, which is like $7,000 to $10,000 per wedding. You could do this at this level because you've got the money to invest in ads, in SEO, in networking, and so on and so forth. So this is segmenting prices is a super important part of this and essential if you're building a team. Now, lastly, is you want to scale ad spend and SEO. So what this looks like is pretty much just if you have a winning ad strategy, like, you're getting a 10x return on investment or a 15x or 20x return on investment, especially, you just want to scale your ad spend. That's pretty much it. The more money you put into ads, the more results you will get as long as you have a proven strategy. And then SEO, I think, is also super important at this level too. What scaling SEO looks like mostly is probably at this point hiring somebody to do this for you. And getting out different blog posts for different locations, putting client blogs up constantly, creating landing pages for different locations that'll rank independently from each other, and mostly just building out your brand to service more areas. Because every single additional area that you speak to, you advertise to, you will get weddings booked from those areas too, and then you can build out your team, so on and so forth from there. And then lastly is scaling social media. Now, I definitely would have a social media manager at this point. You will not have a lot of time to do these things yourself. You'll be kind of scratching your head and you'll be very, very busy. Okay. So I would recommend scaling social media with a social media manager to be posting consistently for you, getting work in from your back end, because you're going to be obviously churning out work. Your editors will be churning out work at this point, and having them post for you. Now, there is a method and something that I want to talk about that Alex Hormozi talks about, which I'll go ahead and duplicate this so you guys can see this. So this is their mantra of more, better, and new. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you want to get, let's say, to like the 20K per month level, more and better are what you want to focus on, not new. Okay. So the new, let me break this down. So what more, better, new means is more is you have something that is working and you're doing more of it. So this is more conversations, more posts, more blog posts, more paid ad spend, so on and so forth, right? It's just more inputs to get more outputs. Better is refining the process. Okay. So getting a higher return on investment from ads, creating better work, creating a better client experience, creating a better vendor experience, creating better, whatever, right? Just improving your process. And then lastly is new. That's when you reach out to different marketing segments. That's when you start hiring new people to do new things for you. The new is super important in the very beginning and then when you're at a super high level. Okay. But if you're at like the 5K to 20K and you're wanting to get to like 20, 50K a month, what you need to focus on is doing more things and doing them better. Okay. And then one more thing I wanted to mention is the structure of hiring people. So there is definitely a hiring hierarchy, I guess, if you want to call it. And if you're at like, especially if you're at like the 5 to 20K per month level, like I mentioned, the things that you want to hire and automate are going to be small things that are not necessarily your expertise. Okay. So your expertise and your goal as the business owner is to increase the revenue of the business. This is in general entrepreneurship. This is not specifically targeted to the wedding industry. So what are the jobs that you need to focus on the most for growing the business, right? That is providing a great client experience, that is providing a great product, that is nailing down your marketing, nailing down your branding, and so on and so forth. Those are the inputs, having more conversations, having more sales calls, so on and so forth. Okay. So where should you automate and what should you decide to hire out first? That's a really big question that you need to answer for yourself. In my opinion, the things that you should do first are editing, because you can still get an incredible high quality product even if you outsource editing. I have to stress that, but you have to pick a good team or you have to have AI really dialed in if you're photo editing. Maybe we'll get there for video editing too. I don't know. But for now, having a really good editing team for video and photo, or leaning into AI with photo specifically, is great. Admin tasks that don't necessarily need your creative expertise, right? Like sending contracts, sending emails, following up with couples, creating, tracking payments and so on and so forth, like managing file structure, sending clients galleries, stuff like that. You can automate that stuff with admin tasks, or delegate it to and hire a team for it. Social media and blogging and SEO are things that I would start recommending doing later on in the timeline. So because those things, they're going to be a little bit more client facing. Blogging and SEO specifically, you need to hire somebody really, really good for that. So you could do that when you get to the 20K to 100K per month level with a brand designer, because typically they're really, really good at it. And then in my opinion, one of the last things that you should automate and delegate would be like your sales process. You will, if you get on not coaching calls, that's my job. If you get on client calls, specifically where like, your consult calls, coffee chats, sales calls, whatever you want to call them, you will close at a much higher percentage because you're the business owner than a salesperson would. So hiring out for sales probably is one of the last things you should do. After you do associates, after you do editing, after you hire out people to manage ads for you and SEO and so on and so forth, which if you noticed here, I didn't even really mention hiring somebody to run ads for you, because the way that we do ads is very automated in itself. You get one ad up or 2 or 3 ads up. And in the beginning, you're spending a little bit of time figuring out what works. But then after that, you can literally set a rule in Facebook that says, hey, if my ads are hitting a target cost per booking, then I can just increase ad spend automatically by 10 to 20% every few days. You can do that. I do that for Full-Time Wedding Pro. I haven't looked at my ads manager in like a week, and I'm at almost $1,000 a day in ad spend. Like, it's crazy. And I'm at a 10x return on investment, or almost. I think last month I was at a 7 or 8x return on investment, directly from ads, but that's not including blended cost per acquisition. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Going back to it. This is how I would recommend you guys go from a 0 per month wedding business to a 100K per month wedding business. This was a very loaded video. Please, my biggest favor for you is like, this is a little bit of a different type of video. This is very tactical, and very in-depth. So if you guys liked this, please feel free to message me on Instagram, or comment below if you're on YouTube or whatever, and just let me know what you thought about this. Let me know if this helped you. And so on and so forth. And again, if you want to join Full-Time Wedding Pro and talk to me about a coaching program, this honestly was just scratching the surface of what we talk about in this coaching program. Obviously, this is the what to do. I teach you the how to do in the program. It's not a cheap program. It is, I don't sell anything less than $5,000. So if you are totally broke, I do offer payment plans, by the way. So you don't have to pay like all that upfront. In fact, I don't recommend you do that in the first place, because you're going to have to invest money in ads. So I do offer long-term payment plans, like 12 to 36 month payment plans. So you're not having to invest all that up front. So don't be scared. But if you have like literally zero money, this is not the program for you. If you're a total beginner, this is not the program for you. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.